Hello everyone, Voodoo here, and I'm here today with the 5th and 6th bosses in our boss coverage guide for the Liberation Undermined. We're doing both Sprocketmaster Lockenstock and One Armed Bandit together in one video today. I could have split them up, but I didn't feel like doing that. So you're getting two today. So we're going over builds for both, as well as just like some footage coverage. I will say these are both prog kills. Some things go wrong on Sprocket, and One Armed Bandit, we have to do a DPS hold. So parse isn't the best, but you know, I get a good vibe on how to do these bosses, tips, how to parse them as well. So it'll be helpful if you're trying to parse or if you're trying to prog on these bosses. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Obviously, Muggsy will be next whenever we kill it, and then finally Gallywix. But for now, let's go on to it. So first things first, has to be talent trees. So for Sprocket, I honestly would just play no mover. You can play movement. Exergy is viable. I would say probably like 20% of people on this boss do play Exergy. But realistically speaking, and we'll swap to like Warcraft log to show you in a second. A lot of people are parsing behind this boss with no mover, and it lets you do a few things. There's a lot of times you can't use Vengeful Retreat at all because of beams, because of drills, because of orbs, because of the conveyor belts, and it generally just means that low mover does tend to pull a bit ahead because of all the times when you just can't move. It also lets you use Vengeful Retreat for some cool movement, which I can cover. Lets you get, you know, if you're moving for beams, if you're moving for soaking a mine, it helps out with that. So basically, I would play this, but you definitely can play Exergy if you want. So we'll pull up Warcraft logs here. So most players in this fight, see 77, so roughly 80% of players are playing the low mover build with Blind Fury and Isolated Prey, and then roughly 20 to 24% of players are playing the movement builds here. But if we look out at our parses, there are a lot of parses that are just low mover, right? So top 5 are all low mover. We have one, Hawkerton, Popular Corn Dog, shout out to him. But out of like the top 20, we have like 5 or 6 movement builds and 14 non-mover. And it gets even worse the lower you go. Start with this guy, by the way, playing some weird ass Immolation or a Bellscarred build. Good for them, I guess. But yeah, so predominant parses are with low mover. That doesn't mean you can't play movement, but generally speaking, it's just a lot safer to play the low mover variant on this fight. So I would stick with that. If you're reprogging, if you're like re-clearing, you can play movement if you want to mess around with it, but this is just easier and safer. For Bandit, I would just play the normal single target build. Really not that big of a deal. If you want a little bit more defensive coverage for when the fire coin one comes out, you can take longer darkness. But that's basically the only swap I would make, really. Nothing too crazy with this fight. This fight's a lot of just like killing real assistance and cleaving. So this is just going to be the kind of the best build for it. Yeah, so out of the way, let's get on to Sprocket, and then we'll do One Armed Bandit. All right, so here we are with Sprocket. Now, I want to put a few things out. It's 10:45 p.m. on this kill. We end rate at 11. I don't have hunt. I forgot to say anything. I didn't notice it until right about now. And I'm just like, oh, well, probably won't be the kill. It was the kill. So when you don't have hunt on pull, you're not going to do great. So keep that in mind here. Anyways, this fight's not crazy. The biggest thing on pull is you want to just make sure you get to the right side. So for us, we always had blue be on, like if the room was going up this way, right? Room's going my mouse from right to the screen to left of the screen. Blue was always on this bottom side. Red was always on this top side. That's kind of the important part here. Because if you touch, you knock each other away, and there's a huge amount of, there's like a huge dot that goes on you. These mines are going to come out. Oh, this isn't muted. These mines are going to come out, and this is kind of the big mechanic here. So red people have to get red mines. Blue people have to get blue mines. Healers do this first set, and now we're going to move for a beam position. This fight is very much like just a dance. It's just remembering a dance and just doing it. So there's not like a ton in terms of optimizing DPS. It's just like keep your uptime high and avoid things. One thing with this middle thing, there's these little blue things that'll kill you if you touch them, and there's like mines that go through. Don't touch those. Just don't do that. So I'm popping coin here. It's very easy to still do my damage and also go out and get the pop. So not too big of a deal there. We got our Destry off in Essence Break. If you're on one of the back ones over here, Vengeful Retreat is going to be very useful. Now I'm not on it on this one, and I can't turn my camera. But there's 2 mines over the top of the screen where my mouse is. Using Vengeful Retreat there to get back and forth to get them, very, very good. There I use Vengeful Retreat just to grab some Fury. On this fight, honestly, I wouldn't like I would try and do that, just so that, you know, you have Fury. Doing my rotation kind of poor here on it, honestly. I'm so tired at this point, so don't worry too much about my rotation. But like realistically, this fight's just gonna be a lot of me yapping, right? So mines are happening. Like melee don't do much in this fight. All we're here for is just dealing damage to the boss. Here's a pretty tough set. You really want to make sure you don't go over here. And during this time, hunt normally comes up. Obviously, it would come up if I didn't delay it by accident on pull. So during that time, I would not hunt, because many times you can hunt there and actually end up like killing somebody because of just like how you're operating here, because you can like hunt into the boss and the boss might be touching others. At this point, we move over for our knockback. So the intermission, which happens I think 3 times, we only get it twice. We kill shortly after the second one. He's going to do a big knockback. So what we do here, we always have red gate, and we have blue get knocked back to where we're going. So on this side, we're going to go onto the right side of the room. We'll have gate happening. We're going to gate when he's almost in the cast here. Gate over here, and boom, we're here like this. So go up, we're going to Chaos Strike, beam, and honestly using Fellblade to get back is a great little tech that I found. That's why I Vengeful Retreat meta here, so that while I beam here, I can use Fellblade after. It's going to be much quicker to get back to the boss, which means that we're going to have a lot more damage happening, which is kind of the important part here, right? It's just keeping uptime on that phase. If you're on the blue side, what you're going to have to do is a wee little jump away to beam. We might see that later. I think on blue side later. I get killed going to the intermission. You'll see what happens. It's kind of upsetting, but whatever. But if you're on the blue side, you kind of get pushed down towards the group. So you have to kind of jump away and then beam along the conveyor belt. And then everything kind of repeats. So at this point, every time we get a new intermission, out of an intermission, he upgrades one of his machines. This one's going to be the lasers. So now, as we go through these lasers here, it's going to be a huge purple void beam, which I think we're going to see right about now. So here, this one, you have a lot of space. On the other side of the room, you don't have much space. So really, really important that you want to line yourself up with stuff on the ground, not the boss. Because if you line yourself up with the boss, very easily you could die. Lasers always kind of go through these little things over here, the corrugated steel parts. So by keeping those in mind, you can kind of like not die. Here we're going to do a run. You can definitely greed more on this boss, but because it's kill, I just want to be safe here. But you can greed a lot more on the boss as he comes through. Do not step on that mine. You'll wipe your raid instantly. It would be very, very bad. So don't greed on that one. But you definitely can greed more than I did there pretty safely. So here's going to be a really tight set. So again, bosses lined up pretty well here. But these are really tight together. And we have rockets going on. Now the hardest set is going to come after this one, where you're going to have bombs, rockets, and beams. That one's spooky. And because we're obviously progging here, what I did is I'm going to just pop Nether Walk during that one and just sit there. Because like if you die there, you're over, right? One of the things there too is that boss does a little run after this. Blue side has to just go because we need to move. So if you're on blue there, you're going to lose a little bit of boss DPS. Not a big deal. Just make sure you move over so that you're not gimping your raid out. We have mines. I'm getting moon here. So here's going to be a bit... Oh, I didn't do Vengeful Retreat. I should have Vengeful Retreated there. So there, what I could have done is Vengeful Retreated, which was what I was talking about. You can line yourself up and just VR back towards my mouse. I don't know why I didn't do it. I also didn't Fell Rush. I just ran out. So weird. We'll come back in. This is the scary set. I just Nether Walk and sit here because you're being pulled and also the beams are happening, right? Like this is the spookiest set. Definitely could have played it a little more risky, but again, I'm playing it super safe on prog here because I just want to kill this boss, right? And here we go for the second of the knockbacks. So this is gonna be our last one. Boss is at 20%. He's gonna die after this intermission as long as people live. Now the very important thing is you don't want to take the gate early. So I switch polarity here. So I'm blue. So blue on this set is going to get knocked straight back to the wall. Then we're going to move right into the conveyor belt, right? Should be pretty fine. Now what happens here is that our Holy Paladin takes the gate early, knocks everybody away, and then we get thrown across the room. So you'll see it happen here. So he takes the gate now, I think. There we go. You can just kind of see that. Just kind of see that as we go through. So keep your eyes peeled for a little red flying guy to go this way. So there he is. And then I think he gates now. Boom. Don't do that. So what that does is it knocks us all away. And at this point, I'm just dead. Right? There's not a ton I can do to get back here. I use my fell rushes. I could have meted for like another second, but yeah. So I die. So our paladin kills 3 people, I think. Yeah, me and the paladin and the death knight. I think I do get res, but at this point I've been dead for so long that, you know, I basically didn't get to do damage during that at all. But it's fine. It's whatever. So at that point, if you're blue, I'll rewind a bit. So because the conveyor belts are moving towards red, you want to like jump away to beam, and then while you're beaming, you kind of get carried back towards it. It's a little sketchy. It's a little close, but you know, is what it is. And then at this point, like, it's just whatever, right? Like, yeah, I'm just taking an L at this point. You know, just unfortunate, but it is what it is. So at this point, final thing happens here is the rockets get upgraded to void orbs. If a void orb touches you, you're basically the raid is wiped. So what we want to do here is we're gonna actually rotate sideways, so that there's more room to move. So we're gonna have blue go to the right here, red go to the left there. And at this point, like, you are just dodging balls. If a ball hits you, be likely you're gonna wipe the raid. We're ignoring mines, we're ignoring everything else. We're just not getting hit by balls as our number 1 priority here. And there's honestly like a lot of them that go out. So it's like kind of spooky. You see there, one went off. Depending which one goes off, you can kind of like deal with it. But yeah, boss dies. And there we go. So that's that. So moral of the story here is have hunt on pull and don't get knocked by your holy paladin as they're gating. But otherwise, it's just a pretty straightforward fight where you can use like bench retreat to optimize some movement a little bit. And you want to just try and keep uptime as much as you can. There's nothing like too crazy about like ads or cleaving. It's just pure single target. Just keep uptime to the best of your abilities, and you will do well. So there you go. That's that. Let's go over to One Armed Bandit. All right. So One Armed Bandit time. So this boss is weird. Prog is interesting on this thing. Also, I started like way too soon. Where's the pull timer? Oh my god. Okay, I clipped this at like a horrible time. There we go. Okay, here we go. There's 1 minute and 14 seconds of nothing there. So I would pull. I would potion on pull. Potion on pull. Hunt in. One of the things you want to do is you want to make sure you're hitting these 2 assistants to try and just do the most damage as possible. So you want to bait these 2 coin lines and then kind of move slightly to the left and then into the boss's hitbox. So I'll rewind here so you guys can get like a better view of it. The big thing on this fight is getting as many of those coin buffs as you can. Going to be very important to do that because it's a 10% damage gain for each one. So what you want to do, you see this really thick blue line here? If you're standing on that blue line, you'll get the coin buff every time and never get hit by it. So I move slightly to the left and into the boss's hitbox because at that point I'll get the coin buffs and I can hit all those ads, which means the most damage possible. So what you're going to see me do is I'm going to actually be holding a lot of glaives here so that I can make sure I'm hitting all the right ads. Because on split sets, with our comp especially, our comp not very optimal. Our far ad is like doesn't die very often. Well, it does, but it had like trouble dying through prog. So what I started doing is just making sure that I had Chaos Brand on that target. We're going to mark these ads. Further on in list tier, when you have more damage, I think it's probably fine to just keep your mark on the boss like at all times. Here I move my mark back to the boss, obviously. But it's all about just like trying to keep up this damage amp as much as you can, and just chilling. So we don't always, you know, do the best at making sure everyone gets the damage amp on this because it's prog and we need to like go over and kill all these assistants. But realistically speaking, get that as much as you can. I missed that one. It's unfortunate. Is what it is. You just want to do the best you can at trying to get those. So here I'm going to hold. Oh, I didn't hold glaive. Sorry, I thought I was going to hold my glaive there. I did not. But realistically, it really is just like kill the ads. As long as you can kill the ads, then you will kill the boss, and you'll do well. So here, going over to this left one here. The suck's pretty strong, so you can use Fellblade to go against it. But basically, like, we are just blowing up these ads as much as we can. And once the ads die, the boss, we had to hold DPS. So if you see our damage kind of go a little low, that'll be why. But just killing as much as we can and just profiting. So there's a choice you can do here where you hold I-Beam and Essence Break and stuff for the ads that are about to spawn. I don't do that. I am going to hold this glaive though, just because a lot of your damage is going to come from just padding on these coin and bomb ads, which is a weird thing to say, but it's the truth. Now I get lucky. Oh, never mind. I do get one on me, unfortunately. So at this point, I can't really do as much damage as I'd like. Because if those guys hit you, the raid is basically wiping. Not a ton you can do about it. So I gotta just kind of get out. I can't do as much damage as I want in there. And c'est la vie, right? Here we go. Another not bomb. I think we actually got pretty lucky on our kill. Where we didn't have many split sets, but you know, just metaing, making sure we get our coin buffs here. Just really nothing too crazy, right? Just killing the ads, putting damage in boss, yada yada yada. There was this thing during prog or early prog where you'd be taunting the ads. I don't think that's really necessarily worth it anymore because the ads just like don't do enough damage from the thing where it's like you need to do that. This here, more ads, make sure they're not targeting you, and just kind of go in there and deal damage to them, right? Like, that's the name of the game here. It's going to just be like, how much ad cleave are you doing? And if you're not doing a lot, then you're not going to do as much damage. Just try and get as much damage on these ads as possible. Ideally, obviously, you want boss closer there to cleave. Again, we are doing... So here's our first split set. So on our split sets, I'm going to target the far ad and just chuck a glaive at it. Just get mark on it so that our range can cleave it down. Because depending on which split set you get, oftentimes, especially early on in prog with low counts of this buff, I move out of that coin for some stupid reason. I don't know why. I get another one, but it's fine. Especially with low counts of this buff, it's very, very possible that you end up dying. I just rush over here as quick as I can, and we just need to get this ad down. We have 5 seconds now, 33%. It should make it, but sometimes it is very close. I get it, I dunk it immediately. What we do is we have the other demon hunter pick up the first coin, and he's going to be the controlled dunk. So he's going to tell when it happens. And then the second person, whoever gets the second coin, just dunks it immediately. A little bit easier to do that. This fight has weird timings depending on when you dunk your coins in. It has like spell queuing. So just try and control when you dunk those. And then here, fire and coin is going to be a lot of damage happening. So I dark here. I would blur towards the end of it when you have this million dot happening. And then I would potion once the healing absorbs come out. So healing absorbs come out, rip a potion. This thing sucks. It's a absorb and a slow stack, so it's very easy to like just die because of it. We gotta suck in here, so it's a little slow. At this point, we're getting close to phasing the boss, honestly. We have 2 more coils left. We do a weird strategy. I have to cancel that there because I realize I'm standing in a coin beam. So, you know, try not to do that. We have a strategy where we're just not able to do our hold successfully. So it didn't matter as much, and we would get the fire puddle and like the fire coil in a horrible spot. But now we're not doing that, so yeah. So I'm gonna send beam here, meta here. Now the reason we do this, because we're gonna get another one in P2 anyways. So I feel like it's better to just send this now, have a little bit of damage here, and then just make sure we're killing all the ads, than it is to hold this for lust. You definitely can hold this for lust, but you'll lose a cast. Now on quicker kill times, you're gonna be better. So here we call it just get off boss. So I'm fully off boss at this point, and we need to just kill these things. So go on the left here, just kill it as quick as we can. Try not to cleave onto the boss too much. We move so we bait coins. Try and have your boss at least in the hitbox of the assistant, so melee don't have to get off of it to bait coins, but it just, you know, happens sometimes. So I'm off boss completely. I'm hunting over. We gotta kill this other one now, because if we push early, it's gonna kind of suck, and we won't have a great bomb bait. Here we go. We should have just dunked. He should dunk this sooner so that we can bait it better, but we end up pushing, I think, before he dunks it. Yeah, and he'll just spawn the coil where he's facing, which is like fine. It worked out okay for us here. But now we're in P2. Ooh, never mind. That's not a great coil placement, but is what it is. A lot of your damage again is going to come from just cleaving off these ads. So the weird damage hold. We're off the damage hold. He's now going to rig the game and summon a bunch of little guys. Cleaving these onto the boss is going to be a lot of damage. Unfortunately, we're going to run away. I don't get to do much cleave to them, which is fine. So here, what you want to do is just stay close to the boss's hitbox and kind of walk down along this big inner circle of the wheel. These cutter beams instantly kill you, basically, if you touch them. So you have to avoid that. And you're going to just be baiting coins and just getting damage buffs and just doing damage to the boss. Every time this countdown happens means we're going to bait something. So just stay close. You don't want to be too far away. That was a pretty unfortunate bait that cut a lot of time off from us because people were pretty far. But in the end, it worked out okay. So we lost here. I think I ripped potion here. Yeah, I do. I ripped my potion here. Doesn't super matter that we don't have lust meta for this lust, because it's like, you know, meta's not like a crazy damage increase anyways. And you will get another meta towards the end of this phase, which is pretty nice. So we get another cutter beam. Explosive gauge on me means I'm being targeted by the ads. Nothing too crazy there. At this point, I'm just kind of sending everything. We're at the end of the fight here, so I'm just making sure. Watch out. There's a suck and some coins. Be very, very careful. At this point, I'm just making sure that like we are doing as much damage to the boss as possible. I'm just ripping my meta and my trinket, kill this thing, not worry about, you know, like proper rotation or anything like that. Like just get things done here so that we can kill this stupid boss. Because at this point, we have a ton of wipes like low, and we're just like, we want to get out of here. We want to finish this. And here we go. I mean, this is going to be the kill, right? So I'm doing this. Fire beam, I get at the left here. Just do not cleave the raid with this, especially at the end of the fight here. And boss does die. Now we get horrible loot. We get 2 daggers and a zenith and a like a leather wrists. And our rogue had to sit for this because he got banned. So we don't even like need the loot, but it ended up well. So a lot of this fight is going to just be cleaving, right? During prog, you want to focus down these real assistants as much as you can. During farm, I think you can kind of sit on boss a lot more with your Reaver's Mark and stuff like that. Because definitely marking the ads, you will lose Reaver's Mark uptime, which is just, you know, nothing you can do about that. And then you really want to make sure you're cleaving the bomb guys that spawn. That's a lot of your damage is going to come from that. Try your best. Like Havoc's not the best at that kind of damage right now, like burst AoE like that. So try your best to get damage out on that. Hopefully you're not doing that damage hold. I don't know how things are going to be later on with more DPS buffs, but this boss kind of sucks. Honestly, I didn't really enjoy it. Dodge tornadoes, I didn't even mention them. These tornadoes will kill you basically immediately. Same with being in a coin line. So these get spawned from a coil, and these also get spawned from the fire ads dying, and then also from the dispels at the range they're doing. Just like, do not get hit by these. Like you can live 1, but if any other damage is happening, you'll die. And they are predictable where they go. So if you can dodge one in one way, then just like don't go back to where that place is, because they come back, right? They go out and come back in. You saw that fire just do it. So just dodge those and you should be fine. Realistically, like this fight isn't too complex, but it is difficult to dodge everything, especially on like lower skill guilds. I mean, you can look at this fire hell over here, right? But just dodge things, try your best, and hopefully you'll be fine. All right, everybody, that is it for the 5th and 6th boss. We'll do Mugsy and Gallywix as their own videos. I don't want to split them up. I do want to split them up. I just did these 2 together because why not? And I just waited a bit on Sprocket. But yeah, I mean, obviously not the best like kill parses because of prog and whatever, but be safe on prog and these 2 bosses. Lots of things that can wipe you if one person messes up. And just hope your Holy Paladin doesn't gate through the party, and make sure you have Hunt on pull and weird things like that. But yeah, I mean, pretty much these fights are very execution based. Sprocket, there's not a ton to optimize. One Armed Bandit, you really need to be cleaving a lot of ads, do a lot of damage, and just hope you're not doing a hold. Later on, as you don't hold DPS, it should be a lot better, a lot easier to do. But early on, probably might be doing the hold strategy, but it depends how many 3% buffs you have when you get there. But overall, these fights are fine. I'm more excited for Mugsy. I think Mugsy's a lot better for fight. And we'll see when we get there. So if you guys enjoyed, like, comment, and subscribe. We're pushing for 15,000 subs this year. We just passed 14, so I think we can get there. So thank you all for helping out. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. A big thank you to everyone watching my videos, but especially to my channel members. Thank you, Alexander Trifunovic, Rukaza, Fear Redefined, Loose Change, Jorge Polanco, Matthew Barr, Zuligan, Chocobo Merc, Gabriel Correa, Matchman 133, and Falafadar and Dark Terror. Thank you so much to everybody. If you want to join and support me in making videos, consider following the link below. I will be adding more perks to this over the summer as I get more time, including log review, which isn't available right now. But again, I do appreciate everybody just supporting me and watching the videos. So I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Peace.